Good morning, and welcome to Great Games Computer Learning Videos. This is the 8th video in the HTML5 Canvas video series. Today we'll be talking about Tutorial 8, Drawing Arcs. So let's get started. First, I want to bring up the tools that I'll need to make this project. On the right-hand side, I have Notepad++ open. This will be my editor for my HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code. On the left, you see two different windows or panels. The first one is the actual page that we'll be building, so we can take a look at that and use it as a kind of a guide as we go through and build it. And down below, the page that I currently have. And since there's nothing here, there's nothing displayed on the page. To begin with, I want to lay out the HTML code, so I'm going to go ahead and type in some HTML tags here to get this page started. And I'll put my HTML tags, so my open HTML and my close HTML. And inside the HTML tags, I'm going to have two sections. I'm going to have a head section and a body section to this document. So I'll put in my head section here. And I'll put in my body section down below that. Okay, so I have those sections in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit of information, or I should say some tags inside of those sections. These are things that I want in those sections on the page. So on the head section, I'm going to add a title. And I'm going to also add a style section. Okay. Jumping down into the body area, I want to add a few different items here. I want to add a header 1 level tag that's going to be used for my title, a header 3, and this is going to be used for my subtitle. I want to add the canvas element, a script section for my JavaScript code, and I want to finish this off with the header level 4, which will be used for my copyright information. Okay, so that has my basic sections for the page. I'm going to go up to the title area here, and I want to add a title. The title of this particular project is Tutorial 8. And I'm going to jump down to my H1s in my body area and put the title here, which is Tutorial 8. My subtitle is going to be Drawing Arcs. And my copyright information will look something like that. Okay, so I have my information in here. This Tutorial 8 is the title that will appear on the tab of my page in the browser. This title here is the title that will appear on my page, so that's this one. My subtitle, Drawing Arcs, is right below that, slightly smaller font. And then I have my Great Games, copyright 2016, all rights reserved, text displayed below that. Okay. Now the canvas is going to be my white area here. We're going to format so it has a white background. And then we're going to use JavaScript to draw the arcs on here. So a couple things I need to do as far as formatting this page. This is all HTML code. Now I'm going to go into the style section here, and I'm going to add some CSS code. So this is going to help me to actually do a little bit of formatting with what I have. For the body area, I'm going to format the background by adding a color. I want the color kind of a light blue like I have here, so let me go ahead and put 4D7AFF, and you're welcome to use any color you'd like there. Down below that, I want to specify a color that I'm going to use for the font, which in my case I'm going to use white. I'm going to change the actual font. So I'm going to use font family colon, and then in quotes I'm going to specify the font that I want to use. So Century Gothic. And the last thing I want to do is align all the text, including the canvas, in the center of this page. So I'm going to use an element, or not an element, I'm sorry, an attribute called text align, and I'm just going to specify center. Make sure you put the closed semicolon and the closed curly brace on this. You should have an open curly brace after body, a closed curly brace at the end of your statements for it, and then after each statement you should have a semicolon to end that line or instruction. Okay, I'm going to also format my canvas area, so I'm going to come down right below body here and put canvas, and I want to specify a color for the background. So I'm going to put background color, and I'm just going to type the word white, semicolon, and a closed curly brace. You're welcome to use any color that you'd like to use for the background of your canvas. Okay, so that completes the CSS code. Now we've got the HTML code for the page complete. We've got the CSS code complete. We're going to jump down to the canvas area, and we're going to format the canvas a little bit here, and then we're going to write the JavaScript code and put that inside the script area. So let's come down a couple lines here for canvas. I'm going to tab over and just put update browser. Okay, and in the canvas tag, I'm going to go ahead and specify an ID attribute here, which is going to be the name of this particular element, and it's going to be called my canvas. Okay, now looking at the finished page, I see that the area for the canvas is actually 200 pixels wide by 100 pixels high. So inside here, I'm going to go ahead and format this canvas so that the width is going to be equal to 200, and the height is going to be equal to 200 also. And that should complete my formatting of the canvas. Now before I write the code for the script, the JavaScript, I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to refresh the browser over here and just make sure that all of my formatting, my font, everything on here appears like I'd like it to look. And now it looks just like the one above, minus the 4 arcs that we will place on here. So let's go back to our editor. In the script area, I'm going to click between the open and close tags for script, press enter about 3 times, and then going back up just under script, I'm going to tab over, and I want to start my first line of my JavaScript code. The first 2 lines are going to be declaring variables. So let's go ahead and do the first variable here. So var canvas, and this is going to be equal to the document dot, and then get element with a capital E, and then by with a capital B, and ID with a capital I. And then I'm going to pass a string in here, which is the name of the canvas we're going to be writing on. So I'm going to put my canvas, close quote, close parenthesis, and a semicolon. Okay, so that completes the first variable. The second variable is going to start off the same way. It's called context, and it's going to be equal to the canvas dot, and then get context. Make sure that you use a capital C for context. And I'm going to pass a string called 2D. in quotes, and with the parentheses I'm going to put a closed parenthesis and a closed semicolon and come down a couple lines from there. Alright, that completes my variables. The next part of this project is going to be actually adding the JavaScript code. And before I do that, I want to look at the job again that I'm going to be doing. We're going to be creating 4 arcs here. And just for a little bit of organizational purposes, I'm going to take a look at the upper left. I have an upper left arc, and I have an upper right arc, and I have a lower right arc and a lower left arc. So I have all of these arcs, 4 arcs going around, and I want to be able to identify them in code. And the easiest way to do that is to put a comment in here that tells me what this code is going to be used for. So the first one is going to be for the upper left arc. So I'm going to put upper left arc. I'll come down a line and I want to put context dot begin path, and coming down a couple lines I want to end that path with the stroke statement. So I'm going to put context dot stroke, open close parenthesis and a semicolon. Alright, now the only code that I need is the code that's going to actually draw the arc, and that'll be right in here. So I'm going to start off with context dot arc, which is my method, and I need to pass some numbers in here. Okay, so the first 2 numbers are going to be the location of where the arc or circle would begin. So if I look at this canvas, it's 200 wide by 200 high, which tells me the center of it would be at 100 by 100. The problem is if I drew all 4 arcs with the same center point, and they were all 90-degree arcs, it would look like a circle. It would look like I just drew a circle on here. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking the quadrants up, these 4 quadrants, and instead of starting right in the center, I'm backing each one of them up about 10 pixels. So instead of this first one starting at 100 by 100, it's going to actually start at 90 by 90, so it's slightly to the upper left of the center. Okay, so it's just pulling it out. So to begin with, I'm going to put my x value at 90, my y value at 90. I'm going to draw these with a 50 pixel radius. Okay, and then I need to create the distance that we're going to travel with this arc. We don't want a complete circle. We want this arc to begin here at 9 o'clock and go up to 12 o'clock. So the 9 o'clock position, or maybe I should back up for a second, the 3 o'clock position here starts at 0. This is your 0. And if we went all the way around, it would be 360 degrees. Okay. The problem is with this JavaScript on Canvas, they're not using degrees, they're using radians. So we have to kind of figure out where we are based upon radians, a different type of a measuring system than degrees. So to start here, we're actually 180 degrees from 0, which is 1 radian. Okay, and we want to go 90 degrees, which is a half a radian. So we want to start at 1 radian and go a half a radian, so we get this quarter arc right here. So we're going to come over here. To start at the 9 o'clock position, it's math.pi, which is pi is 1 radian. Make sure that you have a capital Pi and a capital M in math. And we're going to go until we get to math.pi plus half of math.pi. Okay, so it will look something like this. This is going to be like math.pi is like at 180 degrees, and then math.pi, which is 180, plus half of that again would be like adding 90 to it, gives us 270 degrees. So we're drawing an arc from 180 degrees to 270 degrees here. So let's go ahead and save it. and we'll take a look and see what we get over here. And you can see that we get that arc in the upper left corner just like we were looking for. Now we're going to do the one in the upper right corner. And rather than type all this again, it's easiest to just copy and paste, since it's basically the same thing, just a few different numbers inside the actual location and drawing of it. So let's copy, paste that in there, and this is going to be the upper right arc. And with the upper right arc over here, we're going to be going 10 past the center point for the X value. We're still going to be 90 degrees in Y, but we're going to be 110 degrees in the X. So let's go ahead and change these starting points here. This will be 110 by 90. And we're still going 50 for the radius, but we're going to also change the starting and stop point here. This one is going to start up here at 270 degrees and come down basically to 0. So if this one over here gave us the 270 location, we can copy that and paste it in for this first number here, just like this. Okay, and we said we were going to be ending at 0, which is a starting point at 3 o'clock. So we can take all this out and just drop a 0 in there. Okay, so it's going to be going, basically this is equivalent to 270 degrees, and it's going to be ending at 0, which is the starting point over here. Okay, so let me save it and just take a look at it and see what we've got. And we see that's exactly where we've got this arc. Now the next arc is the one down below here. So once again, we've got a similar structure we're making, so let's copy and paste. And we're going to change this to lower right arc. And with the lower right arc, let's think about this a minute. It's going to be, the center point's here, so it's going to be 10 down from center, and it's going to be 10 to the right of center. So if the center is 100 by 100, this is going to have to be 110 by 110. Okay, still working with a 50 pixel radius. And now we've got to rethink this. We should be starting at 3 o'clock, which is 0. So we're going to change this first number here to 0. And then our second number is going to end at 6 o'clock, which is basically math.pi divided by 2. So over here, we're going to change this. So it says math.pi divided by 2. Now we'll save it, refresh our browser, and we've got that third arc in there. Okay, so we're coming around the home stretch. We've got one more arc to go here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to come up here, copy this, paste it, and this is going to now become the lower left arc. And if we think about the lower left, it's 10 to the left of the center, and it's 10 down. So the X is going to be 90, the Y is going to be 110. So let's go ahead and change this X to 90. Y is going to be 110, and it's going to still have a 50 pixel radius, and it's going to start at 6 o'clock and go to 9 o'clock. So 6 o'clock position is going to be math.pi divided by 2. And the 9 o'clock position is going to be math.pi. Okay, so that's 1 radian there. So that should complete the arcs. Let's go ahead and save it. We'll refresh our page one more time. We've got our fourth arc in there, and we've completed the project. So if you look at the finished project at the top, the one that we just built is identical to that, and you can see all the coding that we used in here to build that. Now, I know there was probably some areas where it went kind of quick. Remember that you can review these videos as often as necessary. Feel free to pause them if you need to. Take your time with it. And I hope this has been useful to you. I hope that you've learned a lot, and you take care now, and I'll see you in the next video.